I'm Tom Landon. On this episode, we'll learn what it takes to go back to school to earn a high school diploma. Welcome to What It Takes. When a student drops out of high school, a series of cascading barriers to success emerges. The loss of one's place in the community, limited earning potential, and a nagging sense of failure often follow the decision to leave school. For some, earning a GED or a general equivalency degree is a good option, but for others, those programs just don't meet their needs. This fall, a new option appeared in Roanoke, the Excel Center at Melrose Plaza, operated by Goodwill Industries. Here to talk about it are Bruce Major, Director of the Excel Center, and Kelly Weems, Senior Director of Community Impact. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so excited about the work. I haven't been to the Excel Center at the time of this interview, although by the time it airs, I will have been. But I have been to the grocery store there and the public library, and what's going on in that little corner of the city of Roanoke is really remarkable. So I'm glad that you're both here to talk about it. Bruce, you're the director of the Excel Center. What led you to this kind of work?
So I've always had a passion for serving those from low wealth communities, those who are just seeking additional opportunities. I started my career, and I'm still am a licensed psychologist. And from there, I worked as a school administrator. I've been a school administrator in Charlotte for many years. For the last 10 years, I've been abroad in China and Dubai. And just kind of, when I made the decision I wanted to transition back to the U.S., I was looking for a mission-driven type of a place to work. And when I found the Excel Center, I thought that was a perfect match for my skill set and my personal passions.
That's great. And Kelly, Director of Community Impact, this seems like a project that can really have some real community impact. What got you excited about it, and what kind of in your background led you to this work?
So I started in project management and really enjoyed the aspect of, the uplift, but very quickly recognized wanting that follow-up and that see-through, and to really be able to gauge how is this project continuing and what is truly the impact. And the initiative of Goodwill as a whole, our vision is to eliminate poverty. So to have the opportunity.
No big deal.
Right.
Our mission is just to eliminate
Right.
poverty.
So that is the big scope of it. So to have the ability to start with the project, see it lift, but now to have the opportunity to be part of that impact and the operations of it, is really just a great fit, and it aligns very well with our overall Goodwill perspective. So we are over 35 counties. And so what we're doing here as far as impact is just, a small bit of what the overall Goodwill initiative is of eliminating poverty.
And I think a lot of us think about Goodwill. First of all, we think about it as the place we go when we want to get a deal on something, right? But also its role traditionally in providing a place to work for people who might have difficult finding either the training to become an employee of another organization or just to find a place to go to work every day. Kelly, talk to me a little bit about that Melrose Center, like where it is and what its meaning is to the community where it resides.
So we are located on Melrose Avenue in Northwest Roanoke, and we are actually in our old building that Goodwill had our corporate offices in. So,
which I think was it a
job campus.
I mean, even before that, I've been here long enough that it might have been a
Kmart.
There
yes,
we go.
It was a Kmart many moons ago. So our corporate office, we vacated that and made some other adjustments to where we were able to fully renovate the inside of the building, inside and out. So the full renovation went through that process. We started with the grocery store opening in November of last year. And then here in 2025, we've been able to bring online all of the other initiatives, and we do have one remaining, which is the Harrison Museum of African American Culture. So once we have that on board, we'll have the library, the grocery store, and those are our anchors on the end. And then everything in between will really be that mission and support services that folks expect out of Goodwill. and being able to bring still that workforce connection through the Excel Center. We have some online capacities with our My Career Advisor and everything there for still that workforce development support. But to tie into the community, we wanted to really address the social determinants of health. And that has been a study over the past several years through Carillion and other folks here locally, to be able to say what are the needs here that we can take part in? What can we be great at in addressing here within the Northwest area? So eliminating the food desert by bringing in the grocery store. But we recognize that that isn't just the answer. We don't need a grocery store and stop. There are other social determinants of health that we have the capacity to help move that needle. So the Excel Center is a goodwill model. So bringing in the option that we have there, and then all those other supports. So Bank of Botetourt, bringing in financial literacy. The library, of course, has been a staple in the community for many years, and really drawing in that relationship and literacy and support there, meeting places. So many things that the library is fantastic at. But then when we get to that community piece and the culture, so really thinking about the decimation that has happened in the Northwest area and wanting to address that, and to not just sweep that away, but to embrace what we can do to bring that back, to bring back some economic stimulation through the grocery store, through the taxpayers that now will graduate from the Excel Center, being able to elevate the Northwest community, and to also make sure that we are honoring the past, the present, and where we're helping to develop the future. So
I'm very excited to see the Harrison Museum be there in a place that has more connection to its community and easier for people to walk to and to really experience in their neighborhood. So Bruce, tell me about this sort of Excel model. How does it work? I know it's, I alluded in my introduction that it's different than a GED.
Precisely.
And let's talk about why that's necessary, but also as an educator, how's it going to work?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, the Excel Center is part of a national network of schools. We are, I guess we're the 47th center that's opening. There's a 48th center. There's 2 more that's opening this year coming up. So the Excel Center, it's designed for students to achieve an actual high school diploma. So our students strive to obtain a standard high school diploma. With GED, they're working towards an assessment. Even adult high school diploma, they're working towards a different set of standards. Here, our students follow the same curriculum, the same standards of learning as a student who is in a traditional K-12 setting. So that's more comprehensive in its scope. So they're taking all the same standard courses that a high school student would take. It's more in depth, right? So it's more than just about mastering content. Students are facilitating the development of critical thinking skills. Specifically, the Excel Center model is tied to workforce development and career and college readiness. So even in the scope of learning algebra or learning, U.S. history, it's done in the context of how does that apply to a skill, a trade, a career that a student may have. The model itself is an accelerated model. So while they will take a standard class, our classes are 8 weeks in length. And we have 5 terms per year. So a student can come to us with 0 credits, never having experienced high school, and in an accelerated process, they can get their high school diploma through our coursework there. But our objective is not for our students just to obtain a high school diploma. It's really to prepare them to earn a sustainable wage that can sustain themselves and their families. And that's through our partnerships with our workforce development community partners. So as part of our graduation process, all of our students have to obtain a trade certification. And that could be in healthcare, manufacturing, construction, IT. They get to choose what they want to pursue, and we facilitate that for them.
And I can only imagine there's a lot of partnerships involved in that.
Lots of partnerships.
Because you can't do all that out of the Excel Center.
Absolutely. But the other major component to the Excel Center model is the removal of barriers. Our students haven't been successful in traditional K-12 settings and are coming back to fulfill that objective. Well, now we want to help them be successful. So we have lots of wraparound services in order to support our students in obtaining their career objectives. So we start with what we call life coaches. Our life coaches act as kind of like guidance counselors, social workers that kind of help students navigate the different aspects of their lives and the community resources. Our goal there is not to do things for our students, but to equip them with the skills they can be successful themselves. And that's from, again, just what we call the soft skills, conflict resolution, time management, organizational skills, some of those things. But in a practical sense, our barrier removal is something that's just very unique to Excel Center and successful, is having on-site childcare. 80% of our students are females, many of whom experience pregnancies while in high school. Well, here's an opportunity. They can come back to school in a licensed daycare center that's on site while they're learning, their students are learning. And it's just a great opportunity for them to, to support them and to remove that significant barrier that may have kept them from even getting a job. Where here they can go back to school and their students are on site with them. We support our students with transportation, with bus passes or maybe gas vouchers. Anything that's going to keep them from being successful in school, we want to help them be successful and remove those barriers. If that's mental health counseling, we have community partners that help facilitate our students in that respects too.
This is as somebody who's been a school administrator, I'm listening to all these services you provide.
It gets even
really
better because
remarkable.
all of it's free. Our students pay for nothing. They don't pay for a pencil, a book, or anything. Everything is done free, again, with the generosity of goodwill and also the generosity of our state legislators. So it's a tremendous opportunities for folks who may not have been successful in their K-12 setting to come back and get a second chance.
Right. These are people, not necessarily kids or young people, but people who they've already fallen through the cracks, right? So
Absolutely.
you have to really get them to a place where they're ready to learn, which is a phrase we like at public television. Tell me about, let's first, you've talked a little bit about your students, but how are you finding them? You're as we record this, you're just ramping up, but where are you in the process?
Sure.
Are there students enrolled now? And again, how are they coming to you?
Sure. So, of course, we have a robust social media campaign that's attracted a lot of interest into our program. We attend community events. We go give talks and just kind of spread the word. Right now, we're experiencing the word of mouth phenomena. The students who are in the program are telling their counterparts, and then they're coming out and expressing an interest in the program. So for this first cohort of students, we're starting off, we accepted 75 students. We started off the school year with about 66 students in our program, and our goal is to average about 50 students per term as we progress through the program. Of course, life happens, right? So some students will graduate, some students will matriculate and graduate, some students may drop out because of work commitments or other things there. So we have rolling admissions for all those terms. We're constantly accepting students as we go throughout the program. But yeah, right now, our biggest recruiting tool is word of mouth.
Sure. And you may be experiencing this, Kelly, as people almost drive by and start seeing what's going on in that large piece of property. What's the connection to the local school divisions? Have you, in your process of helping to bring this to Roanoke, what was the involvement of the school divisions here?
So we've had a working relationship with the local school divisions even before the Excel Center. So we already had a very established positive rapport with all of our local districts, from the city to the county, even beyond, and our other territories as well. So from the very beginning, we were already engaged with them, which was very helpful. But there has just been a great support, and we've had several conversations with Roanoke City, with the local adult education as well, and to talk through how do we complement one another and to make sure that we are helping each other. So, there may be a student that comes to us, but we think that they are a great fit for the Region 5 program. Or they may have a student that they say, hey, we've tried to help them as much as we can, but
They just have too many barriers.
right.
Yeah.
And so they refer over to us. So ultimately, there's just a great relationship and complementary services to one another.
Bruce, your faculty, where are they coming from? And I know you mentioned something about, some online components to this as well. Who are your teachers?
Yeah, so all of our teachers are licensed teachers in the state of Virginia. A couple are retired and decided to come back into the system.
I can say, as someone who was teaching at I've taught in several settings, that the appeal of students who are seeking you out is pretty great, right? So I imagine those teachers are excited to work with students who are very excited to be there.
Absolutely.
But again, just continue on.
Sure. Yeah. It's as you mentioned earlier, it's not easy to transition back into school, having been out for upwards of 20, 30 years in some instances. So our teachers work closely with our students, kind of build that relationship. Everything that we do is based on the fundamental belief that relationships come first. I can't teach you anything until I know you, understand your needs, and I'm delivering instruction in a manner that accompanies those needs. And so our teachers spend a lot of time understanding our student population, understanding working with students from low wealth communities, understanding just adult education. A lot of our students, or a lot of our teachers, have experience in traditional K-12, and now they're transitioning to adults. We've been fortunate that I think 80% of our teachers have had experience teaching adults, either in correctional facilities or in adult ed programs. So that's been a blessing for us to have that experience there.
And when you talk about workforce development and building those skills, what's the connection to the rest of, will these students even know they're going to a Goodwill sponsored school? What's the connection to Goodwill as a whole?
The Excel Center as a model is a subsidiary of Goodwill. While it operates very independently, we have support with national support with the national team. It all does still stem back from Goodwill. And so the vision of it is that since we have all of these resources, since we have the ability as Goodwill to reach a population that, to your point, sometimes falls through the cracks. This was just an initiative started in 2010 that has flourished throughout the nation. So it is something that our students are very familiar with on the aspect of, here's Goodwill finding another way to help. And that is some of the messaging that has come across. And when you walk into Melrose Plaza, you see that nice, really big green and blue sign that says the Excel Center, and that just lets them know that Goodwill is still finding ways and being innovative and successful at that innovation. Again, it's been an initiative since 2010. There are over 15,000 graduates nationally. And
it's nice that you're not starting something from scratch. You're implementing a model that's worked elsewhere, right? I mean, you are starting something
in Virginia.
I saw your
in Virginia. Yes.
From scratch, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the unique part about the Excel Center model is that you adapt, you don't adopt, because you have to be cognizant of the needs of your population and what's needed in this area. Like, we have a stronger emphasis on our post-graduation employment. So we don't stop with just graduation, not even with certification. We've added a component to our program that we want to place our students into careers. So we are reaching out to local businesses and organizations and looking for job placements after they've graduated, after they've attained their certification, and want to track that.
Which can be the weakness of the traditional high school is they do everything they can to get you across that finish line. It's very important to get everybody a diploma who can earn one, but there isn't a lot available to you once you're no longer enrolled in that school.
Yeah, we want to equip you with the skills to get a job and to keep a job. And that comes into our workforce, those soft skills that we're working with in the school, but then also with our partners.
I was talking to somebody about this topic the other day, as I always do, talk to people to find out what they want to know about this. And one of the questions that came up a couple times was like, well, wait, where's the diploma from? What's it say on the diploma? How, is it the same as a high school diploma?
Yes, it's a standard diploma. They take the same state assessments. They follow the same course of study, the standards, and it's just as if they were to graduate from a traditional K-12 program.
And it says a graduate of the Excel Center on the envelope? I
Absolutely.
mean, it will when you graduate your first.
Well, our first students will have that.
And when do you think that your first students will walk that stage?
That's a very good question. So, right, the Excel Center model is designed to meet students where they are. So some students come to us having never experienced high school at all. Some have tried it and weren't successful. Some were just at that last stage. I mean, right now we have a handful of students that just need to pass the SOLs, or maybe they just need one English course, you know. And while we'll give them that English course, they still have to do their trade certification. They still have to do the other part, because that's our goal, not just a high school diploma. We really want them to have a sustainable wage for themselves and their families. So the jury's still out on when that first graduation, but we'll have our first planned graduation in July at the conclusion of the school year. But we'll celebrate and we'll recognize those students who've completed our program prior to that time.
Sure. And am I correct to assume there might be some connections with local community colleges?
Of course.
That sort of thing. And can we talk about that a little bit?
So we do have a partnership already established with Virginia Western. Everything from their fast forward to dual enrollment, anything that is available that they have there, they are gracious enough to work with us to see how do we make this work. So there certainly is the ability to go to that secondary level.
Where you are situated, for those who know Roanoke and know Melrose, that little corner of the city, you are close to subsidized public housing that is nearby. I just keep thinking about, you talked about food deserts. I mean, it's clearly solving this need of, like, yes, there's a food desert, there's also a learning desert. Then, you know, the resources, the library desert is no longer there. That's been kind of solved. Are you drawing from, you know, some from within a few blocks and some from a lot farther away?
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned the location, because while we're in that area of Roanoke, that's not our target artist. We really are opening ourselves up to the entire city, the entire county, even surrounding areas. I think currently our student, the furthest student that travels is from Blacksburg, that comes in, that attends our center. But we have Franklin County and other places also. Okay. And our goal is to expand throughout the state, you know, and open multiple Excel centers. But right now, while we're located in the Northwest sector, we have reach far beyond that.
And are there other Excel centers in the state of Virginia already? Are you
No, this is the first.
But not the last.
Yes.
Right. And I'm sure you've had a lot of conversations with the Virginia Department of Education and, and others.
So we've been working since around 2022, 2023. We actually, through Senator Head, we were able to introduce a bill that allowed for us to even operate this, because before then, a nonprofit would not have had the ability to operate a school. So we have the law. It is active. It is there now, so we can continue to move forward. And he was able to carry that, have that passed. So now we do work with the VDOE, the Virginia Department of Education, and also with the Department of Labor within Virginia, because of that workforce connection as well. So we work very closely with our state legislators, and even some on a federal level, to make sure that we're staying attuned with the different supports there. So it's been a journey over the past several years to have the support throughout the entire state. But
not connected to the lab school initiatives or that sort of thing in the state, right?
No, this is a one of a kind.
You've mentioned the state a lot. Is there federal involvement in this, or any funding or anything coming from the federal government right now, or are we looking mostly state and local support and goodwill support? So mostly through goodwill, through just our business model as a nonprofit and with our retail support. And then secondary would be with the state. And we actually just had Governor Youngkin at our grand opening for the first day of school. And I'm so sorry, I had to miss the grand opening because of a family thing, but my wife went and said it was amazing. Yeah. It was like this incredible cross section of Roanoke that she had never seen all in one place. So you're definitely to be commended for that. We've got a couple minutes left here. Imagine that we're looking back at this 5 years from now. What do you hope you're seeing as the administrator of this school as you look back on it?
Sure. Of course, all of it starts with quality teaching and learning, right? So I see 400 students in our halls with an expert staff who's really able to break down the curriculum in ways that students who are returning after many, many years feel comfortable and successful, and importantly, empowered. I think that's something that's really important for us as a school, is that we want to empower our students to advocate for themselves, to achieve all that, it kind of sums it up into access and equity, right? But as a whole, I think we'd probably have 2 or 3 more Excel centers around the state by that time. But also having our students placed in employment, placed with our community employers, that they have the skills, they have the certification, and they're earning a wage that they can sustain themselves and their families, and they're contributing back to society.
And hopefully coming back to the school
Absolutely.
to share their stories.
Share their stories, to mentor other students. Those wraparound services, those barrier removals, takes a village to accomplish and to pull off. And for our current students to come back and be part of that process would be amazing.
Yeah, Bruce and Kelly, I could talk forever about this. We're going to have to make way for the next program that's coming on the air. But if you would like to get involved in the work of the Excel Center, or enroll as a student, or encourage someone else to, you can visit excelcenterva.com. For What It Takes, I'm Tom Landon.